little bit about the next guest speaker. I'm going to say a little bit thing. I usually don't say this to him though, but coming from knowing him personally is like the most matured 21-year-old ever and the most hardworking 21-year-old I know, and I'm proud of him. And apart from that, I'm going to just say a little bit about our next speaker. His name is Jomi Ogunfiditimi. He's a 21-year-old senior at Central Michigan University. He's a double major in sociology and criminal justice, graduating in August with a 3.4 GPA. Yes. And and he is also a graduate of the WCCC Dual Enrollment Program, and he is in progress of retaking his LSAT. And applying to law school. Jomi spent his free time staying active with lifting weights and pick up basketball. I can see that. He's also part of Sigma Pi. Am I pronouncing it right? Sigma Pi, right? Fraternity at Central Michigan, and enjoys engaging in philanthropic efforts with the chapter. Now I'm going to call on Mr. Jomi Ogunfiditimi.
I'm 21 years young. I'm a senior at Central Michigan University, double major in sociology and criminal justice. And tonight I'm going to talk to you all about my own personal growth. So at first, I didn't really want to do this event. I mean, I know everyone has a story that explains how they got to where they are. But is mine really that interesting? Is it worth telling? I didn't think so then. I still don't know how much I believe so now. Yet here I am, about to empty my basket before all of you. My journey into adulthood began in summer of 2013. My family dynamic began to change slowly but surely. This was the summer my sister was diagnosed with cancer. I won't go into a great detail about the complexity of her illness, but I will delve into how this began to shape me. I still remember those summer days at 17 years old, home alone. Hadn't seen much of my family for about 2 weeks because between my parents working, long hospital stays, and my own schedule conflicting, there wasn't a ton of time to get the good old-fashioned quality time with family. This was the first real time having to confront a painful situation and having to decide how I was going to cope with it. It was a difficult summer for everyone, and I was just excited to start my senior year of high school. That year, I did have a few things to help distract my attention from the at-home turmoil I faced. It was my senior year. I had a job. I was dual enrolled at Wayne County Community College. Oh, and I had a girlfriend. I also had to begin to think about college. I knew I was interested in law, but I wasn't exactly sure where I was going to go. My two best friends got into U of M. I didn't. My other good friend got into Michigan State. I didn't. I didn't want to go to Howard, even though I got in, because I thought I wasn't ready to leave everything in Michigan behind. So I did what any other confused 18-year-old would do. I followed my girlfriend at the time to college. And that's how I ended up at CMU. Don't get me wrong, I love CMU. It's been an unforgettable experience, and I'm sad to leave this year. But that's the path that I chose, and I ended up graduating from high school and Wayne County Community College District in the same weekend. So the summer after high school, my girlfriend and I broke up, But I was still headed to Central in the fall, and I was more than excited about the change of scenery I was going to experience. That first semester, I finished with a 3.4 GPA. I had a great freshman year of college. I made a ton of friends. I joined a fraternity. I signed a house for the following year. And I realized at that point that I needed to work and work a lot. So the following summer, I worked 3 jobs. I interned at Wayne County Community College District. Thank you, Miss Diggs, for always allowing that opportunity. I was a cashier at Kroger, and I still remember those long nights of working at the college until 5, speeding home just to go work at Kroger 6 to midnight. And twice a week, I shadowed an attorney in a law firm in Farmington in order to gain some legal exposure. That summer killed me, and I had no time for anything, but I learned a lot about time management and building relationships. The next school year, I lived off campus with 6 of my good friends at Central. It was the first time in my life having to put up money for utility bills, and I really got to understand how that whole thing worked. It really makes me hopeful that I get a good paying job in the future. That year on my own was amazing, but it was also the year that my parents separated. I didn't understand what they meant when they broke that news and told my sister and I that they would both be moving homes. I remember crying in the shower until the water got ice cold. I ended that school year by being a facilitator for a camp at Central geared toward high school freshmen or incoming college freshmen in high school, and kind of teaching them how to be leaders. The lessons we learned and conversations we had about impacting the world propelled me into the summer inspired to make a change. I opted to live primarily in Detroit with my dad in order to be close to work. However, I was further from my friends and had to make my own fun. I decided to start a research project. I wanted to research how citizens of Detroit felt about their lives in the city and what they thought could be done to improve it. I created surveys that I would distribute all around the city and analyze that data. Each day after getting off of work, I would put on my rollerblades and hit the city. I would go for hours just meeting strangers and talking to them about things that really mattered to them and to me. And I ended up surveying over 100 residents of the city, as well as creating an Instagram account to showcase all of the people I was meeting and tell their stories. That summer, I also traveled to London, where I stayed with extended family for a month. I did the same thing that I did in Detroit. I met strangers and listened to stories. That summer was probably the best I've had, as I learned about myself, learned who I am, and gained security in what I want out of life. The biggest thing I learned was the importance of understanding others. Especially with the people we have in office today, there has to be a shift in the attitudes we have about people who are different than us. I took that spirit into this school year, my final year at Central. This has been the year I've really started to figure out that I was getting ready to be by myself. Asking for money every week got old real fast. I struggled to find a job around campus and also had to navigate around applying for law schools, focusing on taking the LSAT. I came off of last semester in less than good shape and nervous for the future. During that winter break, I traveled to Omaha, Nebraska with a group of Central students to volunteer at a juvenile detention center. Here I learned about the struggles of at-risk youth and again was involved in something that inspired me to chase after my goals. I saw the loneliness a lot of those kids had, one I had forgotten. until I felt it again a week later. While my mother was in England, my sister in North Carolina, and my dad spending time with a new woman he had been seeing, I spent Christmas alone this past year. I cried about it that night. I then knew why it was that I hardly come home these days. Because aside from my mom and my sister, I felt as though there was nothing for me to come home to. I don't have many close friends left from high school. My friends I am close with get sweet internships every year because they go to top schools, and I don't see them much. There's nothing in my town left for me. I made it my goal for 2017 that I was going to start laying the foundation for me to break out and accomplish what it is that I want in life that brings me joy. Because here I am graduating a year earlier than my peers and getting ready to venture into this scary thing called life. Though I didn't hit the mark that I hoped for law school, I've been blessed with a legal internship this summer that I can use to propel me in the right direction and really hone in on the skills I'll need in order to be successful in law. Although I'm in this transition period, I'm optimistic about the possibilities ahead of me and look at all the experiences over the past 5 years as essential to the person I am today. I've spent the last handful of years listening and learning from others and their stories. I hardly noticed I was crafting my own. Having my own story is part of what has given my life meaning and given me hope. I'll end this now by saying one last thing. Your story is not just for you. Your story has the capacity to set others free. Thank you.